Welcome back to the Glint Standard podcast. Today we're going to be talking about, is AI better or is it just faster? All right, Craig, we're
Yes,
back.
sir. We're back.
So today we're talking about AI and marketing. I know we use it, but there's a little bit of controversy going on that I've read about, and I feel like we've both seen it.
Yeah,
You
we
know,
have.
but we just didn't want to discuss it. You know, it's the big topic. What do you say? Just first off, do you think AI is better or do you think it's faster?
Right now it's faster.
Right.
I think it's getting better. And every month it's speeding up, and it's going to be very different a year from now too. You know, going to meetings, talking with colleagues, doing research, reading all about it, that's what we do, right? It's not just from articles, but getting information from people who are actually in the middle of it and developing inside of it and how they're using AI. Because we're thinking it from a advertising marketing perspective, but really it broadly affects a lot of different industries as well. I think about robotics and all of that. It hits a lot of different things. So talking about AI can be a very broad subject. So I think you got to narrow it into how it affects you and how it affects what you're dealing with, and then understand the broad pieces of it.
I think narrowing it down, one way that it's very useful for us is the systems we have in place. For example, we use an automation service to send out emails, and the AI is really good at building out those automations by just prompting it. You know, and that's kind of where we use the AI the most, I'd say. Not as much on the creative side. We use it for things like stock images instead. But then we go and manipulate those on the content creation side.
Well, I think
that's kind of your part.
Yeah, it's a little different than that. Stock imagery is different than AI. It's actual real photos, real people. The problem is everybody can access it, and for the same price. So what we came from, kind of taking a step back, was used to be photo shoots unique to your brand. You had your actors, you filmed all of that, and that's how you got that authenticity and trust that you built, and you could really control the narrative a lot better. Then as budgets started getting cut and technology improved over the years, now we have stock imagery. It was a massive issue when it first came out. Nobody has unique imagery anymore, everybody's using the same stuff. And you would go to, and this actually we saw, you go to a retirement community, you see the happy older couple, you know, eating breakfast at the retirement community. Well, then you go to IHOP, same couple's on their table stand, right?
Yeah.
So that's the case for why doesn't stock imagery work? Well, that's why. Now it's affordable, but you do have some parameters, some give and take in there. And now we're into AI, and you have the same kind of parameters. Like stock imagery has almost disappeared, really, because you can almost create whatever you want. If we want to stick on the imagery side of it, we can take a photo of you and I sitting here, and we want to change our environment. Still starting with original imagery that we're providing in is going to give you a more unique and authentic approach than just typing in, I need two people sitting like they're talking on a podcast.
That's exactly what I was
So you
saying.
start to drive that in a little bit more, where what you're seeing today is that authenticity and trust is really dying away a little bit, and people are moving so fast, they're just not slowing down. And you truly can prompt, I want an ad that does this, and you've got it. Is that good enough? But you start looking social, right? Everybody has a channel now. You don't have it to be in business, really. Every company has an exact same flyer or ad or whatever it is. So maybe it's great for like a bar.
Exactly.
Right?
That's what I was going to bring
services,
up.
selling.
Yeah, that's what I was going to bring up too, though, is that on that content creation side, what you're talking about, what we do is a little bit different than just a bar putting up a flyer like, hey, it's karaoke night. You know,
Sure.
We're putting in an image, and we want to manipulate it to be the guy doing like a fist in the air. And the AI can take that image and help create that, and then you can take that and continue to create that advertisement. where I think some people, it's that faster or better approach. You know, we can quickly get, instead of having to have a photo shoot, we can quickly get an image that's manipulated in a, I guess manipulate is not the right word, but we can get them to pose how we want with AI, and we just upload their image. But a lot of people, there's a local bar near us, and they have events every day. And they have TVs in their bar, and their bar is covered with AI.
It is.
And, you know, for the younger people, it's covered in AI slop. That's what we call it.
Okay.
You know, it's rude, but that's what it is.
I mean, I get where you're going.
It's
for sure.
obviously AI. The food doesn't even look real. It's like they didn't even take a picture of their burger and say, put this on a flyer. They say, give me a burger. And it's like, what? That's weird. And but so a stat that I saw coming into this was that 49% of consumers in the US think that the AI makes the content worse. And I've met people, I mean, my age, maybe they're being cynical, but there's an ice cream shop, and every day they have daily specials. And it used to be a Word document that says daily specials, and then, you know, vanilla, chocolate,
right.
Whatever.
Yeah,
and,
$1 off.
And now it's this AI poster, and people are like, I hate it. Like, people do have a negative sentiment towards AI in that regard, but I don't think it's that bad for people like that. But you know,
but you're in context. You're talking
consumers-
about context.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The consumers do that, even if it's okay, and it's like it is better than a Word document. People are like, gosh, this is where my water's going to.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. Here's the reality of it, though.
Yeah.
People over the generations, and people have always been this way, decades and decades. We are visual people first. We always have been. And reading is a part of advancing that a little bit. Well, we've gotten to the point now where we don't want to read. We want to quickly scan, get it. The only way you can connect with somebody quickly, very short text, 1 or 2 words, or visual.
Yeah.
Strawberry ice cream, chocolate ice cream. Does it look like that? Does it have to be the exact thing? Probably not if your special for that day is getting $1 off. So it works, and it is easier to read, and it does look better than having the printed out, taped up thing on the wall. So I get it for that, and you know, that's fine. You're not building a brand around that, though.
Right.
That's what you have to go. Now, if you got Joe's ice cream shop and Jenny's ice cream shop, and you're both doing the exact same thing, why am I going to pick one over the other? That's when things need to start changing, and it's not just the experience. It's experience when you get in there, and experience of what you're going to get visually when you're telling your story. Are your offers better? Now we're getting into advertising, and that's where you can't lose sight of the foundation of its purpose.
You already answered one of the questions that I was going to ask, but is can AI understand brand personality? And when I say that, you can make your you know, profile. Like, this is our logo. This is this. The AI doesn't get it right every time, and I think it better if it's an ice cream shop. I think it better understands an ice cream shop rather than Joe and Jennifer's ice cream shop. And so, like you're saying, is the AI is like, I'm an ice cream shop. My name is Joe's. It's gonna put Joe's on there, but is it gonna get your logo right every time, or is it gonna start morphing into that kind of, I don't know, like that AI like homunculus where everything kind of looks the same. Like if you type in "make me an ice cream board" and I'm Joe's, here's my logo, it's gonna look the same as Jennifer's when she types it in.
It is.
It might have a little bit of nuance, but it's gonna look the same.
However, if you learn about prompting, you can start to manipulate that more.
Yeah.
There are ways to make sure your logo stays consistent. You always have to check it. It's always messed up. But if you start putting in things like ultra realistic, or cartoon, or you know, whatever style you want that better reflects your brand, that stuff will start coming out more unique to your style and brand, right?
Yeah.
So you start to control that a little bit, and you talk about the brand voice and what it's saying. You can put the brand voice in, and it can manipulate it. I use it a lot for nuance for myself, where I need to spit out what I need to spit out. Sometimes I don't deliver well. And some people need to hear it one way, other people need to hear it another way. Somebody will get offended by this, somebody won't by this. So I use it to help nuance that. I can put in the personality traits of the person I'm talking to, and it can take what I'm trying to get across and help me articulate that in a way that they'll better understand it. To me, that's being self-aware. And the AI is great at helping with that. But I'm telling it what I want. I'm not saying, write me an email that, makes this client love what we do. And it just spits it out, great, yeah, off we go. And I think people do that. The challenge is we're going so fast that more people are doing that. So I think slowing down, and you talked about earlier, faster, better, right?
Yeah.
Faster is definitely not better.
This is what just to talk about that, this is from an advertising standpoint. We're an agency where I think that right now there's a shift where people are very much, I'll just do it myself and make these quick posters type of things. But those nuances that you're talking about, how you have to take a step back and get that human touch and prompt exactly what you want. The people who are wanting to do it themselves, they don't have time for that. Right. They have to do it fast. That's why they're doing it. They're saving money, of course, but that nuance of making it doesn't matter at that point. And I think we'll see a shift in the future where people will come back around and be like, all right, I did the initial fast approach. I have customers that, this local bar, I know about every single night that happens there because they.
That's kind of a scary thing to say.
No, but you drive by,
right,
and there's a poster, a new poster every single week that shows their schedule, and it's readable from the street, which is, and that's great for them, but it'll get to a point, where they've got their people who know, like me, and they'll need to elevate it a little bit, if they want to.
Why them versus the bar next door, right?
Yeah.
That type.
If the bar next door is also doing it, it just all becomes the same. It's like, how are you that's when you need to take that time and really elevate that, or take your time and make it better. I guess that's my point too. Like, AI is faster and it has the potential to be better. You can create some things that, as like to a local agency or business, you can create things that you could never create in the past.
True.
You can have a dragon flying through, and that's just not possible.
You wanted that before. You had to pay an illustrator to draw that for you.
Yeah.
Or a photo manipulator to create that for you, and it'd be very expensive. Well, now you don't have to do that. So it opens up creativity. It does do that.
Yeah.
And it can help you with creativity. Don't let it run the creativity. Have the idea in place to start. And I'm going to go back a little bit to what you're saying before. Like, everyone can do it now, and they can. And if you don't have a lot of time, you prompt it in. Yeah, good enough. Let's do it. So at some point, you'll want your company to be more than good enough. But as you're starting out, it's okay to do it.
Yeah.
We'll go back to the ice cream shop, the bar example, right? It's better than what they were doing.
Right.
And now it's coming in. However, as they start to want to make that better, it's going to take more time. And now we're back into the same place they were before. Our foundation of acceptance and quality, in some regards, has risen. Like the floor has risen because of AI.
Yeah.
So you can't be down here anymore. And go, so hey, that's just being unauthentic. No, that's you being lazy.
Yeah.
That's the perception that's coming. So you at least get it here. And until your business gets to where you want it to be, and you're so busy, now you're hiring somebody to help with this piece anyway, which is what agencies have always been around to do.
Yeah.
But then there's levels. And there are already companies that are here that we work with, and it works. You just need to know, when do I use it, not I always use it.
Right.
Does it make sense here? What are we trying to accomplish? If you're creating products, and they're very similar type products, but there's multiples of that same product, AI can be a great tool for that. You're also controlling your environment better than you can do sometimes when you're doing photography.
Yeah.
especially when it's a lot of products. There could be a lot of advantage, but again, I always talk about it this way. AI is a great intern. It can be a great apprentice. That's what it'll become. It's never going to be better than that anytime soon. You have to manage the interns. You have to make sure the apprentice is doing the job. And now you can say, hey, I want you to go do this, that, and the other. Well, it's heard you say it so many times now. It can do that. And go, you know what, why don't you come up with your own idea for this, let's see how you do with it. And you bring it back, and then you go through and find the problems with it. Okay, this is a great start. It's learning is what it's doing, and you're teaching it. And eventually it will be different. I mean, it's moving so fast now. Whew, kind of a crazy thing. But it works great in process. Take out imagery, take out marketing.
Yeah.
Connecting the dots between your systems can be really great, but what it's starting to do now in some cases, it's figuring out ways to, if you tell it not to do that and you're trying to protect it, it's trying to find a way to work around that.
Yeah.
You know, it's the brain. I had a gentleman talking to me this week at a networking event. I was talking about the brain of AI and what that's like and where it's going. All that's a little above my head, to be honest. But you're like, it's absolutely incredible what it can do, and then it can start creating materials and polymers and all of this on its own. Where those parameters go and stop. And that's the thing that people don't have a lot of clarity on. So.
One thing though too, just to kind of finish off, because you're very like pro AI.
It's not. I'm pro AI, and here's why.
Wait, I was going to say my part.
Do your part.
Because just closing thoughts. You're very curious. I'd say you use it but use it in a different way than most. I'd say. But one thing I just recommend people out there is to just be careful, because it is a 50-50 split. Some people love seeing AI and some people despise it. And I think using AI to get you to a place where people are like, that's cool, and they're not instantly, oh, that's AI, I think that's the difference maker. Because you can tell, and the only reason I say this is because the networking events I go to, I'll talk to people, and they'll be like, a lot of my clientele are like older, not older, but like 40 to 55-year-old like Hispanic people, right? And this is just one lady that I talked to last night.
Okay, that's a very broad.
But they all hate it.
Okay.
They generally, I was what the lady said, is that they're not very tech savvy. So even if it's a little bit of tech, even if it's like an email, they're like, no, like call me on the phone, that type of thing. So it really depends on your market. If you want to, I think millennials, they love AI. I think Gen Z doesn't like it, and I think older people don't like it. But I will say that in the future, I think Gen Alpha, they're going to love it. Because I don't know if you've seen, there's TV stations now on your Roku or whatever that are just AI. I mean, I don't know if you've looked over, if you've looked over like a 6-year-old's shoulder while he's on his iPad, he's just watching AI. That's all he's watching. But,
that's where the trust thing comes into play. Like, it's a great tool, but you still have to watch it and manage it. You can't just, you use the example of the kid that's all watching AI. That's a parent issue. That's not an AI issue. And that's what we can't lose sight of. We're still a society, and we're still communicating with each other. We're using this tool to do it now, but it's still person to person. And if we forget that, that's when it really becomes a problem.
Yeah.
And you don't ever trust what it puts out, ever. You should always be manipulating it and making sure it is outputting the correct thing in the way it's supposed to. And if you're not willing to put that work in, you should not use it, period. But everybody should start to get used to adapting to it in ways it can help, that's comfortable for them, because it's not going to go away. but do it responsibly. That's the thing. I mean, as soon as we get fast and lazy, it becomes a problem. It hasn't created less work for us.
Yeah.
It's just time.
Changed where the work is.
Yeah, changing where we're putting our time is what it is.
It's a lot, for us, it's a lot more about, creating that brand, creating that strategy. It's less of the output and making it happen. It saves some time. It saves time in this area so you can focus more on this area.
Yeah, it definitely gives you the ability to run a lot deeper if you need to, and get more content output if you need to. Like, what is the result we need here? How do we go about it? But it's not saving a lot of time in that regard.
Yeah.
Just, like you said, it's the time is being allocated somewhere else. So, yeah, I mean, what was the original thing? Faster or better?
Faster or better.
I think we're right in the middle of both of those, honestly, right? That's what it sounds like.
I think it's faster, but
yeah.
You can, as people who have been marketing for a while, our AI is better. It's not the AI slot. So it's a weird answer for us, but if you're just out there trying to make posters, like, it'll be faster.
So I think that's a funny point you make, though, and I know we'll have to wrap this up here in a second, but a lot of times we make things look easy, though.
Yeah.
Right? There's been a lot of thought, a lot of work that goes into it, and this is probably for most agencies.
It's the Nike logo.
Yeah, and you put all this effort in, and then here it is, and you're like, oh, that's great, I could have done that myself. You would have never gotten here.
Yeah.
You could not have gotten here. Not with everything that's happening with it. But it seems like you can. And now that you've seen it, maybe you can. But originally, you can't get there.
Yeah.
And I think that's the difference.
Yeah. Well, I think that's it. I think that's the episode.
Okay.
Do you want to? I always tell you to tell me a joke or something. Here's my joke of the month.
Okay.
A horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey," and he says, "Yeah, I'll have one of those." Because horses eat hay. Let me redo it. Maybe it was the.
Maybe it's just over my head.
The horse walks into a bar. The bartender says, "Hey," and he's like, "Yeah, I'll have one."
Okay, got it now. Now it makes sense to me.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Wow. Okay. Nice.
Podcast over. Short one. Short joke.
Okay. Love it.
All right. Did you like that episode? I thought it was a good one. If you want to watch more of our episodes, click here. And if you want to subscribe, click right here.